Hey YouTube, Binks here. Today we have a deck profile on a deck that I really like, and it's a deck that I'll be using for this new format. It is Springans. Springans were a fun little local casual deck. They do a lot of different cool things, but with the new Albaz Strike structure deck, there are a couple new cards that help this deck out. So let's go into the deck and I'll show you some of the things we have built here. So start off with the Springan cards. You have 3 Springans kit, 3 Brothers, 2 Rocky, 2 Bronga, 1 Captain Sargus, and then honorary is 2 Fallen of Albaz. So the new card, Springans Kit, it searches a branded spell or trap and then places 1 card from your hand back to the bottom of the deck. So we don't play too many branded spells and traps, but this plays as a Springans name, so you can revive it off of Brothers. So Brothers here, when it's sent from hand or deck to graveyard, you can special summon a Springans from the graveyard. So you can pitch Skit for use a field spell, which we'll get into soon, and then if you send Brothers with something like Merrymaker, it'll revive the kit, and you can maybe search for a branded spell or trap. Fallen of Albaz here, we play 2, as you'll see in the extra deck, as well as the others. As you see, we don't play Pedor either. Usually it works in conjunction with Sargus. A lot of the times as you're maybe turn 3 and 4, you can special Sargus using the fusion now that we can send it easier with cards like Mirror Jade. So that's it for the Springans monsters. I do think for anyone that does play this deck, maybe you can play Rocky at 3, maybe move Kit or Brothers to 2, but that's just what I have right now. Springans is a bit of a mid-range deck. It's similar to Salamangreat, I feel like. So this deck can play a lot of hand traps. So what I have here is the Gamma package, 3 Ash, 3 Valor, and 2 Ogre. Gamma is great because a lot of the times you play turns without a monster on the board. Usually you want to resolve things like your spells, the field spell, and Gamma can just capitalize on that and make your boards even better and stronger. Ash, I think, is the best hand trap right now. It stops Branded Fusion, stops, I don't know, Shadal Fusion, stops a couple of different cards out there, and even stops the pot cards. And then we have Valor and Ogre and some other good hand traps to use. In total, with the driver, you play a maximum of 12, hoping to see 1 or 2 in every hand. So moving on from that, now we have the spells. So the spells is 3 Great Sand Sea Gold Gogonda. This is what makes the deck work. This is the card that it's all centered around, and I'll get to it in a second. Let's add the rest of the spells here. We have 3 Springans Watch, 3 Springans Booty, 2 Branded and High Spirits, the 1 Branded Fusion, 1 Terraforming, and 1 Pot of Desires. So Great Sand Sea Gold Gogonda, what it does is when it's activated, you can, all Springans XYZ monsters gain 1,000 attack. But what you can do is you can send any Springans card, you can send the Watch, the Booty, you can send the Brothers, to special summon a Springans XYZ directly from the extra deck. Keep in mind that you cannot, if that monster leaves into the graveyard, you can't Monster Reborn it back. It wasn't properly summoned. But this basically gets your advantage going. It gives you that 1 card XYZ. Springans Watch is everything you can ask for in a card, a Yu-Gi-Oh card. It can either add a Sansea, or if you already have Sansea up, you can add a Springans card from deck to hand, and you can send 1 from deck to grave. So if, let's say, you already have 1 in the grave, you can send Brothers. Brothers will revive. You can add whatever you need to your hand. They all work in conjunction with each other. Booty is basically forms of it's 3 more copies of Terraforming. You can activate it. You can send it to the graveyard to activate a Great Sand Sea from deck. This can't be ashed because it's activating directly from the deck. So keep that in mind when you're using it. If you already have the Great Sand Sea, though, and you have this up, if an XYZ monster leaves the field, then you can negate an effect monster on your opponent's side of the field. So it has nice alternate effect as well. Branded and High Spirits is something that we'll be searching off Kit. It works with your Springans monsters because they are machines. You can reveal it and send, which we play now, which is playable now, is Sprint. And when you send Sprint, you can gain more advantage off of that. And we'll get into Sprint when we go into the extra deck. Branded Fusion is for Verte, Anaconda, Terraforming to make sure we really see that field spell, and as well as Desires. So that's 39 cards with the monsters and spells. So of course the final card we play here is Springans Call. Springans Call revives a Springans monster or Fallen of Albaz from the graveyard. So you can actually have this set on your combo and revive Fallen of Albaz and Super Poly your opponent during their turn. Also, it can banish itself and a fusion monster in the grave to attach a fusion monster from the extra deck to an XYZ monster. It comes up and it's nice, so this card's definitely the best Springans trap to play. I know there's 2 other traps in there, but I personally think Call is the best choice to be playing. So now let's go into the extra deck. So the extra deck here, of course, we have the 2 Springans Merrymaker, 2 Springans Ship, X-Blower, 1 Time Thief Redoer. That's all I played for the XYZ, surprisingly for an XYZ deck. To be honest, I feel like I only need 1 Springans Ship. The second one does not come up. Time Thief Redoer is cool as an extension play, but maybe Zeus might be the better choice, and I'm guessing Zeus is something I might play as well. However, maybe even 3 Merrymaker may come up, but Merrymaker is definitely the better of the 2. The ship is mainly for OTKs and ending the game. But now that we have the new branded cards, we've played 3 Sprind, 1 Albion, and the 1 Mirror Jade. So now you'll start sending Sprind off with your Mirror Jade. You can gain advantage, special Springans cards. You can do a lot of different things with Sprind now. And you can send it off branded in High Spirits. So a lot of the times your first turn combo, you're ending on Mirror Jade, and you're going to be sending almost all 3 of these by the end of your turn 3. And we'll go into that in the combo. Now lastly is the links. So we have one link spider. It's for Nibiru tokens. It's for driver. So you can also go into Verte and Anaconda when you special that Gamma. And Verte is what part of the turn 1 combo is for. 1 dark charmer. It's utility. I mean, a lot of people are playing DPE around. And then the last 2 is Nightmare Unicorn and Nightmare Phoenix. These 2 cards are awesome in conjunction with the Springans Brothers and Springans Rocky, and I'll show that combo right here in a second. But that's it for the deck profile, so now let's get into the combos. Okay, so to start this combo, what we have here is basically a 2-card combo. We're going to be using the Great Sand Sea Gold Goganda and Springans Captain Sargus. I chose Captain Sargus because it's a bit of a brick. If you open any of the other Springans cards, you can get a lot of different results with them. And then keep in mind too, if you're wondering its specific field spell, you do still have your 3 Booty, 3 Watch, and the Terraforming to search into the Gold Goganda as well as Gold Goganda itself. So let's start it off this combo here. So you activate Gold Goganda, the field spell, use its effect, pitch the Sargus into the graveyard, and then you special summon your Merrymaker. So Merrymaker's effect, when it's special summoned, it'll send a Springans from deck to graveyard. You send Brothers. Brothers effect, when it's sent from the deck to graveyard, will special a Springans monster in the grave. Special the Sargus, or whichever Springans monster you have. Next, you'll link the 2 monsters and link it into Verte Anaconda. Then, of course, from here, I think we know what's going to happen. You activate Verte Anaconda. You send the Branded Fusion, and you send the Fallen of Albaz and itself to special summon your Mirror Jade. Keep in mind you can't special summon Albion and then the next monster. Verte Anaconda restricts you from special summoning after, so you have to go directly into the Mirror Jade. Also, if you're wondering for ruling purposes, Branded Fusion, Anaconda copies the Branded Fusion effect, but it does not take the effect of you having to special fusions only that turn. However, again, it keeps you from special summoning at all after. So you end on your field spell, your Mirror Jade, and 3 cards, whatever they are. If they happen to be hand traps, because we do play a lot, I mean, you have 3 hand traps. But on your opponent's turn, you can use Mirror Jade, send a Sprind, and at the end phase, Sprind will be able to add anything. You can add yourself a Brothers, and when you use Gold Goganda, you can send Brothers again to bring out Captain Sargus. You can have Rocky, normal summon Rocky, to add back the Brothers in the grave. So there's a lot of different options. And this was just with 2 cards. As long as one of them is a field spell and the other is a Springans card, they'll be able to create this combo. So this next thing I want to show you here is a mix. It's a combo and it's a follow-up turn. It's a reason why I play Nightmare Phoenix and Unicorn. But first things first, we'll show you this 2-card combo. And this one involves Gold Goganda, and you have to have Rocky in hand. You can get it through Springans Watch, which will even gain you more advantage, but for here, we're just going to show these two cards. So we'll activate Gold Gaganda, and of course, again, use Gold Gaganda's effects, send the Rocky, and you can special summon the Merrymaker. Merrymaker's effect will send a Springans Brothers from deck to grave. Brothers effect will special summon the Rocky from grave, and then Rocky's effect when special summon will add Brothers. So now you haven't normal summoned yet. You can normal summon the Brothers, link these two, and you can link them into your Verte Anaconda. Verte Anaconda's effect will send the Branded Fusion, will send the Fallen of Albaz and itself to special summon your Mirror Jade. Next, you can use Springans Rocky's effect engrave to attach it to Merrymaker, and Springans Brothers effect engrave to attach it to Merrymaker. So now here, with the help of Rocky and Brothers, you can keep your Merrymaker on the board, and you have a Mirror Jade for the following turn to use as disruption, plus your 3 cards in hand. Could be the hand traps again. So let's say on your opponent's turn, you happen to use the Mirror Jade. In this case, you want to use the Mirror Jade to send Albion, because when you use Merrymaker to banish itself, it has 2 materials, so it will also send a Sprint. So let's just say your turn passes, right? We're going to use these 3 hand traps here, stop your opponent. So you have the Albion engrave. End phase Albion will add you a Branded and High Spirits, and then end phase Sprint. You can either add a Springans card, or what I like to do here is special the Rocky, and the second Rocky, and the Rocky effect will add back the Brothers. Now you have these 2 cards in hand, and then the end phase will pass, and Merrymaker's added to your hand. So let's say you draw for turn. You draw your 3rd card. If you want more advantage, Gold Gaganda only lets you send a Springans card to the grave if you have no XYZ monsters on the field. So what I usually like to do is just link these 2 into your Phoenix. Let's say your opponent has a set spell or trap. We're just assuming here. And you use Phoenix effect, discard the Brothers to destroy the spell or trap. Brothers effect will special the Rocky, and then Rocky's effect, since on a new turn, will add the Brothers back again. And then you can repeat the process. So you can send these 2 to make you Unicorn. And Unicorn, let's say your opponent has a monster in the field, you can send your card. So it gains that advantage. You can send Brothers, you can send Branded and High Spirits or whatever you drew. But the point is that it's 2 removals for the price of 1 because you added that Brothers back. So I really like that combo. I really like the card advantage that Rocky and Brothers give you when you constantly loop the 2. And even then now, we have no XYZ monsters on the field. So let's say if you use the Unicorn, you send the Branded High Spirits. You can now use Gold Gaganda, send that Brothers to make yourself an Explorer. And now you have Brothers engrave and Rocky still engrave to pop 2 from Explorer. So that's a 4-card removal from just Rocky and Brothers looping. So that's a possible example of what can happen if you really have the right advantage. So the final combo I have here is a 3-card combo. This really shows the power of these spell cards, how really strong they are. You need to have Great Sansi Gold Gaganda, Springans Watch, or 2 Springan monsters in hand, and Branded and High Spirits, or the Springans kit with a card available to discard. In this case, we'll just show just the spells in general. So you activate Gold Sea Gaganda, you activate Springans Watch. Springans Watch will send a Springans Rocky from deck to grave, and you add a Springans Bronga from deck to hand. Next, we'll use Great Sansi Gold Gaganda, send the Bronga to special Merrymaker. And then, of course, as we said in combo number 2, Merrymaker will send Brothers. Brothers will special Rocky, and Rocky will add Brothers back. Next, we're going to go Branded and High Spirits, reveal the Brothers, and send a machine monster from extra deck, which is Friend. And then when it resolves, you send Brothers, and we will add Springans Kit, as it mentions Fallen of Albaz in its name, for Branded and High Spirits. Next, we'll normal summon Springans Kit. We choose not to use its effect here. We will link the 2 for Verte Anaconda. And from there, we'll do the typical Verte play. send Branded Fusion, Fountain of Albaz, and itself. And we will summon Mirror Jade. Next, we'll go into our graveyard and we'll activate Springans Bronga. We'll banish itself and the Springans kit to search for your trap. And that's for going first. If you're going second, you can maybe search a Springans Booty for follow-up. But I like Springans Call here. Springans Booty also for going first in case you know your opponent might want to destroy your Great Sand-Sea. You have the Springans Booty for next turn to get another Sand-Sea. So next, of course, we'll use the Rocky and the Brothers to attach to Merrymaker. And we'll set Springans Call. And then in the end phase, you sent a Sprint this turn, so Sprint effect. You can't special summon because of the lock by Anaconda, but you still can add. I personally either like to choose Brothers or Bronga for the follow-up next turn. Here in this case, we'll just say Brothers. And then now you have Springans Call set. So this is kind of the ultimate combo you want to achieve, the big combo. You have Merrymaker, and it can banish itself to send a Sprint, another Sprint for the next turn, and Great Sand-Sea Golgana can negate and can stop a monster from attacking. Mirror Jade can send Albion, which can search for another Branded and High Spirits. And then you have still 3 cards in hand. Springans Call, you can target a Springans or Fountain of Albaz. You can special the Albaz. And this is what I mean by using 3 of the Sprints. So let's say it's your opponent's turn, use Call, Albaz, pitch the Brothers, and then fuse Albaz and the monster special summon this turn to make your own Sprint. And then on top of that, you sent Springans Brothers. Oh, well, I was gonna say if you spent Springans Brothers and there's a Springans monster in the grave, you can revive it. If you, let's say, had used Merrymaker beforehand, you can revive the Rocky, add Brothers. So there's a lot of different things this deck can do. And even then, I haven't used Mirror Jade yet, send. So you can even add Brothers back. In the end phase, you'll be using Albion. You can add the Branded. You'll be using Sprint. You can either special summon like another Rocky, you can special summon Captain Sargus, you can add the Rocky. I mean, you're ending like 5 cards back in hand unless you use these hand traps. So there's a lot of different versatile things this deck can do. It has a back row, it has the field spell, it has multiple things from the fusions, it has a lot of disruption. So just kind of tinker around and see what the deck does, and just play based off of what your opening hand becomes. And you will always most of the time end on Merrymaker and Mirror Jade, so just keep that in mind. And you definitely, as you can see, want to play the 3 Sprints since you'll be sending them by the end of turn 2. So yeah, that's pretty much the deck profile. That's pretty much the deck. I'm hoping to tinker with it more, might change the build around a bit. As I mentioned, maybe 3 Bronga, 3 Rocky, maybe cut Brothers and Kit down to 2. But I'll be testing these more at locals and regionals. Hopefully, if I get a good result, we'll share it again on YouTube. But hope you all enjoyed. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. I mean, this deck is awesome. It's a lot of fun. It's fun on Master Duel too. So try it out and leave a comment and we'll talk about Springans. Thanks.